Okay, continue from previous slides. Alternative work arrangements. One of the example of an alternative work arrangements is flex time. So flex time is basically is a flexible work hours. Normally, we have 40 hours per week. That's mean from 9 to 5, 8 hours. So 8 hours a day for 5 days is 40 hours. So sometimes for some people when they work hard, it's very difficult to come at 9 o'clock to start work at 9 o'clock. So if the organization given, for example, flexible work arrangements or flexible work hours, they can come late and finish late. That means they can start their job late and then finish their job late. For normal people, they can start at 9 o'clock and finish at 5. For those who, for example, cannot come early in the morning, so they can start, for example, at 10 or 11, and then they come, they finish the works maybe at 6 or 7 p.m. or it's depend on what time they start. So that's flexible work arrangement. Flexible work arrangement is good because sometimes not all people or not all employees are the same. Sometimes they cannot wake up in the morning because of the working hard at night. Maybe because of other things. So flexible work arrangement or flexible work hours actually is very good. It can motivate employees, especially employees who have problems with family or at work and so on. Okay, flexible is very important. It can reduce absenteeism. For example, if you're working hard from 9 to 5, and then it's very tiring jobs, and then you need to have enough sleep. And in the morning, you have to wake up early. Sometimes you do not want to wake up because you still feeling tired from yesterday work. So sometimes employees can give reason they cannot come because of they feel sick or they have problems. So by having a flexible work arrangement can reduce absenteeism. That's mean if they can come late and go home late, so that means they will have enough sleep, so they tend to come to work frequently. So this also can reduce tardiness. That's mean you always absent, so your schedule your performance is not really good. So this reduce flexible work arrangement could reduce tardiness and absenteeism, and also could increase employees motivations, and also employees to become more productive. However, there are some drawbacks. For example, flexible work arrangement is not applicable to all jobs, especially if the work that employees need to do involve tight supervisions, like handling a very dangerous machine. They cannot come as they like because they need to have technician supervisions. If not, they tend to experience accident at work. So this one of the there are some drawbacks or weaknesses with flexible work arrangements or flex time. So how flex times work? So if you refer to these slides, it can work in 4 ways or in 4 schedules. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and then Schedule 3 and Schedule 4. So basically Schedule 1, this normally employees come to work at this kind of Schedule 1. So Schedule 1, all employees, normally in general, employees start with their work at 9 to 5 every day for 5 days. So basically they work for 40 hours per week. So every day 8 hours. So basically total work hours for a week is 35 hours. 40 hours because 5 hours, 1 hour every day they need to take a lunch. They need to have a break for lunch. So basically they're working for 35 hours and 5 hours lunch. So 5 days and 2 days off. That means Saturday they have days off. So that's normal hours, but sometimes not many employees could do this, especially those who need to work hard, maybe not enough sleep, or maybe have a problem. So they want to have 3 days off. For example, instead of just Saturday, Sunday, perhaps they want Monday or they want Friday off, 3 days off. So what they can do, if they want more holidays, more days off, more weekends or whatever, they can work for example, for 42 hours, basically 42 hours using the schedule 2. They're working for 4 days only, but every day they have to work 10.5 hours instead of 8 hours per day. For schedule 1, schedule 2, they need to work longer. That's mean 10.5 hours per day, but they only work for 4 hours. So sorry, they only work for 4 days, so totally they work 40 hours, but 2 hours, 42 hours for breaks. So basically they will have 3 days off. So this may be for someone who want to take more breaks, or 3 days off instead of 2 days off. Next, the third schedule is third schedule. If employee want to work half day on Friday, for example, they can work 8.5 hours per day from Monday to Thursday. So on Friday they only work half day, for example. So basically they will have 2 days and a half, 2 days off and a half. So and last schedule normally given to those who opt for flexible arrangements, work arrangements. This one, they can have 3.5 days off, but they have to work 10 hours per day from Monday to Wednesday, and on Thursday they only work for 3.5 hours, so almost a half day, basically 4 hours. So they will have more days off. So this very good is especially if the employees need to look after the family. Maybe they have parents who are sick, maybe they need to send their children to school, so they may opt for any of this. Or if they want to go for vacation longer, do not want to take a leave, so they can opt for any of these. So that's actually can improve employee motivation, because they know that their organizations giving them some leeway in performing the jobs, so some autonomy in performing the job. So this actually flexible work arrangements are very important, even though not applicable for all jobs, but can actually motivates employee. For some employees, they really need to have these flexible work arrangements. So another things, instead of having flexible work arrangements, the organization can offer job sharing. Job sharing basically for 40 hours per week, 8 hours a day. Some employees do not want to come every day. Maybe they want to come half day, or maybe they just want to work half of the week. So they can do job sharing for 40 hours. What they can do, they can divide it 20 hours for others to do. They just do part-time or a job sharing where they can share the job with the others. So for example, maybe in the morning, they will do in the morning, their colleague will do in the afternoons, and the rest of the day. So they will have more times with family, or if they are studying, this considered it's very good. So next is telecommuting, or nowadays we call it work from home. This is very important, especially if you have childrens or small childrens or sick parents to look after at home, or during this kind of pandemic. It's very good because you don't have to travel, especially if you stay far away from the office. So telecommuting is very good. But however, you need to have the devices, for the visual devices, for example the computer, the internet, scanner, and so on. So these devices are very important to link your office at home with the office in the organization. So you're still working, but you're presently at home, physically at home, but you are working, you're connecting to the office, to the main office, via internet or via visual online. So some organizations, they actively encourage telecommuting, but not all organizations encourage. But at this point of times, this telecommuting is very popular, especially during this kind of pandemic. Advantage of telecommuting, of course, positively can improve job satisfactions, because if you have so many commitment to do, and but you still need to work, this is very important. Also can reduce work family conflict, especially if you have childrens or small childrens. No one look after your childrens. By working at home, you can look after your children at the same time you can work. And also can reduce carbon emissions, because if you are going to work, normally you will drive your car, and driving your car will emit some of the carbons to the air. So this actually, by staying or working at home, can reduce problem related to pollutions. Disadvantage, of course, organization, especially the manager, cannot supervise you directly. So there will be some shrinking responsibility, especially among the managers. They cannot supervise, they cannot direct their employees directly from their main office. And also difficult to coordinate certain work, especially if our team members are scattered all around the world. To gather them together is very difficult, especially if they work at home. And also very difficult to evaluate their performance, especially the performance related to non-quantitative, that means something subjective. It's very difficult for the managers to measure the performance of their employees. For employees, if they're working at home, this can increase feeling of isolation, because if they work in the office, they can mingle, socialize with a colleague. They will know some latest information. So by working at home, they will feel isolation, because they are far away from their colleague, and then the surroundings, the culture of the organizations. Also, sometimes if the employee put more efforts, the manager also will not notice, because they cannot see directly. That's one of amongst the disadvantage of telecommuting. Another thing that can improve employees' motivation is if the organization encourage employee involvement in the organization. Employee involvement is kind of participations or participative process that the organizations require from the employees. That means they need input from the employees. Then employees can use this input to actually to improve their performance, and also can increase their commitment to the organization. So there are two types of the employee involvement programs: participative and also representative. So basically, participative is where the employees need to provide some inputs when the organizations want to decide on something. So the organizations wish encourage participation from the employees in terms of decision making, where before they make a decision, they will ask some inputs or some opinions from the employees. This actually can improve employee morals, can also increase the confidence of employees, and also can improve the commitment and involvement of the employees. So participative management is very good. It actually makes employees participate in the organization decision making and so on. And representative participations is where the employees, maybe some group of the employees, or some of the employees were appointed to represent the other employees, the whole employees, in the decision making, because sometimes the organizations or employers cannot get the input from all the employees, so they just get the input from the representative, or from the group of the employees that represent the whole employees. So by taking their inputs, that means they also involve in employee participations. So this kind of representative participation is very popular in the Western Europes, and there are two common forms: work council and board representative. So work council is normally is nominated by the employees. I mean the employees who represent them are actually nominated by the employees. The organization needs to consult these employees that been nominated. However, this kind of employees, the employees that been nominated normally have little impacts because the organization are dominated by the